everyone, welcome to today's session. So we have been discussing about verbs finite and non-finite. So in the other class we studied about what the finite verbs and the non-finite verbs are, and I think I don't have to explain what it is. But even then, finite verbs means it has a connection or there is a subject-verb agreement with regard to the finite verbs. And the non-finite verbs won't show any kind of a relation with regard to the subject and the other kind of things. So today we move on to see the types of non-finite verbs. So what are the types of non-finite verbs? Mainly there are three types of non-finite verbs. Basically the participle, gerunds and infinitives. That is participles, gerunds and infinitives. So today we will be discussing about these three in detail. So first we move on to see about the participles. What are participles? So participles are the ing, ed, en, d, t and n forms of verbs in sentence. There are three other kinds of participles. We can explain like present or past or perfect, something like that. So I will explain all those things in detail. So first, as I said, there are verbs which are ending with the ing, ed, en, d, t and en. So these will be the participles. And the present form, I said about the three kinds, that is present, past and perfect and so on. So in present, ing form will be used. Ing form will be used in order to speak about an ongoing action or an incomplete action. So in order to speak about an ongoing or incomplete action, we will use ing form of participle. For example, I saw a man carrying a basket of apples. A basket of apples. Here, the word carrying becomes the participle or the non-finite verb. How does it become the participle? Because the word, for example, I saw a man. I saw a man carrying a basket of apples. So here the word carrying becomes the participle in the sentence. Here the verb is carry plus the word ing is used in the sentence in order to become the participle form. And the word ing is used, and we know that here the verb so, this is the finite verb and it shows the tense in the sentence, though it is a verb and it shows and all those, but it does not show any relation with the sentence which it has. So that is all about the present form of participles. And now we want to see the past form. So here, what is the past form? So the second thing with regard to the participle is about past. For example, the word ed, en, d, t and n is used in order to speak about a completed action or a state of something. Or for example, blinded by rage, he stormed out of the room. So here the word blinded is used in order to speak about a completed action or a state of something which already happened. So here the principal clause will be he stormed out of the room, in the sense he just went out of the room is known as the principal clause, and blinded by rage is a participle form of it. So that is the second participle or the past participle form of it. And the last one is all about perfect. So it is having plus past participle will be used in the sentence in order to represent an action completed at some point in the past. For example, having slept late, she could not get up early in the morning. So here, having slept late is used in order to speak about an action which is completed at some point of time or a certain point of time. So it might have happened in the past or in a certain point of time, and there is a continuous action or there is a effect of the particular action which is happening. So in order to speak about such actions, we will use participle, and it's supposed to be perfect in the sense perfect participle will be used in order to speak about such actions. So that is all about the first thing, that is participle. And we move on to the second one, that is gerund. So you may know what a gerund is. It is generally known as the ing form of the sentence, and gerunds are verbs ending with the ing that function as noun. So usually we use ing form in order to speak about a continuous action. For example, he is playing in the ground. In the sense, in order to speak about a continuous action, we will use ing form. But in some cases, we can use a verb plus ing in the place of a noun. So gerunds are verbs ending with the ing that function as noun, just as noun or a noun phrase can act as the subject in a sentence. So in the same way, this gerund or gerund phrase can also function as the subject in the sentence. I'll explain with an example. So here, he thought shouting would make people take him seriously. So here it is an example where a word shout, is used in order to make it a noun. So here, he thought shouting would make people take him seriously. Here the word thought becomes the verb and shouting becomes the noun in the sentence. Though it is a verb plus ing form, but it takes a noun form when it is converted into another form. I'll explain that. That is, shouting at others is not the most effective way to communicate. So here, the word shouting comes in the beginning of the sentence, which refers as the subject in the sentence. So shouting at others is not the most effective way of communication. So there is a gerund phrase in the sentence. So what is that? It is shouting at others. So there are three words in that. So these three words are compiled together in order to make a subject. And so it becomes the subject in the sentence. So that is all about the gerund. And we will know some other kind of sentences which shows the same effect in the sentence. That is, notice how the change in the subject or the main verb finite changes, but gerund remains unaffected. So sometimes in the first example we have seen he thought shouting would make people take him seriously, but when we change into another form, the verb form has changed, but the noun form or the word shouting hasn't changed. I will explain with one more example. It is said that walking is good for health. It is said that walking is good for health. So which is the noun form here? It is the word walking is the noun form here. And when we convert it into another form, what will happen? I like walking in the evenings. So here also the word walking becomes a noun in the sentence. I like walking. Here I like walking in the evenings, in the sense here walking becomes the noun form in the sentence. Or else imagine I am walking every day. Here the word walking becomes the verb in the sentence because it has a relation with the verb and the subject which it has. When we study about subject to verb agreement, we will study deep into all those, like the verb which shows the tense in the sentence and so on. So when we study the non-finite verbs, we studied that the finite verbs shows the tense in the sentence. In the same way, I am walking or he is walking shows the tense in the sentence. But here, I like walking in the evenings, in the sense here the word like shows the tense in the sentence and the word walking is not showing the tense in the sentence. So that is all about the gerunds and participles. The last one is all about infinitives. So what do you mean by infinitives? So this is the commonly used form of verb, combines the base form with to. So I have given some examples like to ask, to go, to remind, to be are the examples of the infinitives. So here, how do we create an infinitive? It is nothing, or it is very easy, just like add to in front of the base form of a verb. For example, here the verb is ask and we have added to just in front of the word, or else the word go and we have added the word to in the sentence, or else we have written the word remind and we have added the word to in front of the verb in order to make a infinitive. And there is also another infinitive, that is bare infinitive. So we have been studying about infinitives like bare infinitive, full infinitive and so on. So this is called full infinitive, and bare infinitive means only the word will be used. Only the word will be used in the sentence. But this sentence will be, or this word will not show any relation with the tense. I will explain. Before that, we will speak about infinitive. I will explain with an example. To forget to remind, I forget to remind him of the doctor's appointment. So here, I forget to remind. So here there are two verbs in the sentence. That is forget and remind. But these two verbs are used in different ways. One is finite verb and another one is non-finite verb. Finite verb shows a relation with the subject, or else we can say it shows the tense. But non-finite verb does not show in a relation with the tense. That is, the word forget shows the relation with the tense, but the word to remind does not show any relation with the tense. Or else, to be lazy is not in my nature. So here the word to be is used in the sentence as a non-finite verb. So I was speaking about bare infinitive. So what do you mean by bare infinitive? The form of the infinitive which uses the base form of the verb without the use of to. Without the use of to, if we use the word go, it becomes a bare infinitive. If you want to create a full infinitive, what do? We just add the word to in front of the verb which we use. For example, thus listened to the leader speak to them of a great things to come. So here the word speak is used without the use of to. So we can say it is the bare infinitive. I can explain with one more example. I let him cry his heart out before saying anything. Here, let is the verb in the sentence, and the word cry is used as a bare infinitive. We do not use to cry. If you want, you can use I let him to cry his heart out before saying anything. There is no wrong in it. But here, the word bare infinitive is used in the sentence. So it is the word cry. So that is all about bare infinitive. And we have to speak about and another things like participles, gerunds, infinitives, and so on. But there are some more kind of things which we have to keep in mind when we speak about finite and non-finite verbs. It is we'll see all those things with some examples. Here, notice how the change in the subject, the main verb finite changes, but the non-finite remains unaffected. We'll explain some examples. He will agree to give us permission. So here, the word agree or will and agree shows the tense in the sentence, but the word to give does not show any tense in the sentence because the word to give is non-finite verb and the word agree is a finite verb, because we have studied finite verbs usually show the tense in the sentence and it has an agreement with the subject. Or else I agree to give the permission, or they agreed to give us permission. If it is in any tense, it does not matter. But what will happen? There is a relation with the sentence if it is finite verb, and the non-finite verb won't show any relation with the tense. And some other kind of things like certain verbs, that is forget, remember, try, stop, avoid, are usually followed by gerund or infinitive phrase. So I have been speaking about the gerunds, that is the ing form of the verb, and the infinitives, that is either the use of to or the bare infinitive. Anything can be used. So I'll explain with a few examples. She forgot to call me today. So here the word forgot is used in order to, that is a finite verb, and to call is used in the sentence, that is the infinitive. Or else, please remember to switch the lights off when you leave. So what is that? Please remember. In the sense of remember, it becomes the finite, and another word, that is to switch, becomes the non-finite verb in the sentence. There is another thing like I tried having the soup, but there was none left. So here I speak all these examples in order to make you sure that there is no agreement with the subject with regard to non-finite verb. Only the finite verbs shows the relation with the subject and verb, and also it shows the tense in the sentence. So we'll wind up the section with we'll see what are the things which we have studied. So mainly we have speaking about verbs that is finite and non-finite, and the types of non-finite verbs. So basically there are three types of non-finite verbs, that is participles, gerunds, and infinitives. So in participles we have seen the word ending with ing, ed, en, d, t, and n will be used as the participles. I have given an example, so I don't go deep into all those. And that is about the participles. And we also saw about the gerunds, which are used with the ing form of the verb. Gerunds are verbs ending with the ing that function as a noun. So that is all about gerund. And we also see about infinitives, that is this commonly used form of verb combines the base form with to. So these are three things which we have to keep in mind when we speak about the types of non-finite verbs. So this is all about the session, and we will come up with another session in the next class. Thank you.